Hey guys, my name is Angie. I'm going to be starting a vlog of my cancer journey and my chemo journey. A little backstory. Um, I was diagnosed with stage 2 anal cancer on July 17th. It started July 2nd when I went to St. Petersburg to see my brothers. Um, I felt like I had a hemorrhoid and it was very painful. And I thought I had made it worse by going in the ocean for 4 days straight, enjoying my time with my brother and my sister-in-law. So I came home and I let it go, just, took my hemorrhoid cream and ibuprofen. I kind of lived on ibuprofen for a while. Um, and then the 16th of July, I ended up going to the ER with extreme pain. And I went to the ER and they couldn't examine me because the pain was just too bad. So they sent me to a colorectal surgeon in Ormond Beach. So I called them and I scheduled an appointment and I went there 4 days later. No, the next day I went there. Pardon me. The next day that I went there. And then they set me up for a biopsy the next day. So I went in the next day to have the surgery done. And the doctor told me when he examined me that the day before that he thought it was cancer. But he wasn't sure, so let's go ahead and do the biopsy. So I went in the next day for my surgery, and they did the surgery. And he goes, oh, the results should be back by Monday. I had my surgery on Thursday. So I waited till Monday. I called on Monday. They're like, oh, the results aren't back yet. Okay, give a call in a couple days. I called and I called and I called for 2 weeks. And then the nurse finally told me, she said, well, the results are back. Everything is fine. There's nothing physically there. It's all in your head and you're pill seeking. Okay. Well, first off, guys, I don't like pills. I don't like taking the pills I have to take, let alone extra pills. And it's physically there. I physically see it. I physically feel it. I feel the tumors. I feel the pain. So it's not in my head and I'm not pill seeking. And then she said to me, if you really are in that much pain, maybe you should go to another ER and have another doctor tell you there's nothing there and maybe he can prescribe you something for pain. Okay, that's what I did. That night I went to Advent Health in DeLand and I told the doctor when she walked in, I said, just to let you know, I'm pill seeking and it's all in my head. There's physically nothing wrong with me, but I'm in extreme pain. So she goes, okay, let's go ahead and take an examination. And she tried to do an examination and couldn't because the pain was so bad, but she physically saw the tumors. She goes, well, it's not in your head. There's something there. And I told her, I said I was taking 4,000 milligrams of ibuprofen a day. She goes, it's not going to work. You'd need a narcotic for the pain to help. So she prescribed me pain pills, and sent me to another surgeon. Quit it. Sent me to her surgeon. So I went to go see Dr. Mallet in Advent Health, and she tried to do an examination and couldn't. Scheduled me for a biopsy the next day. And I told her, I said, the previous doctor did a biopsy and told me there was nothing there. The nurse told me that there was nothing there. She said, okay, well, we'll get the biopsy tomorrow. So we got that scheduled. That night, I received a phone call from the previous doctor, Dr. Ritter, at Ormond Beach. And he said, why haven't you come back to my office? I have in there that you have cancer and I need to see you ASAP. I said, well, your nurse, Tina, told me that it was in my head and that I was doing nothing but pill seeking. So, and I needed to go to a different hospital. So that's what I did. Well, he goes, well, you have cancer, so we need to get you in the office as soon as possible to get you started on chemo and radiation. No, we're not going to do that. I told him, I said, I'll never go back to your practice ever again. I said, I'm comfortable with Dr. Mallet. She's going to do the biopsy and she's going to figure everything out. And he's like, well, I'll contact her personally. There's no need for the biopsy. I'll send her the pathology report. You have stage 2 anal cancer. Okay. Well, he did that. And then Dr. Mallet called me immediately after and said, it was confirmed. She read the pathology report. She had her pathologist read the report. And it is definitely cancer. And I'm going to have to go through chemo and radiation. So that was scary. Once I found out that I truly did have cancer, I broke down. I went into a very deep depression. I didn't want to talk to nobody. I didn't want to be around anybody. I locked myself in my room. And I did nothing but cry. The pain was so bad. I literally did not go anywhere but from my bedroom to my bathtub or sitting in my room in a heating pad. I have become a prisoner of my own home. I sit on a heating pad. I'm not supposed to, but I can't have ice because I have CRPS extremely bad in my feet. For those who don't know what CRPS is, it is chronic regional pain syndrome. It is like having fibromyalgia or neuropathy times a million condensed to my feet. This happened when I was working in the Postal Service and I fell and I broke my tibia and I ended up having medical concrete put in my tibia. Anyway, so I can't use ice because it spreads my disease. So I only can use heat. Well, I do that, and then I've learned that the bathtub helps with constant running water, especially to that area. So I've been doing that. I don't go anywhere. I was working. I was Instacarting at night. So as soon as I found out I had cancer, I immediately called my boss. And I told her what was going on. And I didn't have insurance at the time. So she said, we need to get you insurance. So they helped me get insurance to get my treatment started. And then they told me I had to go on a leave of absence because at that point the pain was so bad. I was coming in and out of work at all times of the day and the night. I do premium insurance audits, so I had that option to do that. They were working with me very well. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot. My head is all over the place. My confusion is bad. I'm trying to tell the story, how it happened via timeline, but my mind is just foggy, so I might bounce back and forth, and if I do that, I apologize. Hopefully you can still follow along. But yeah, my job worked with me to get me my insurance and then put me on short-term disability. We tried working around the pain, coming in at all hours of the day and night, clocking out all hours day and night, because either I had to go lay down or sit in the bathtub. I was literally taking my work to the bathtub with me. Yeah, so anyway, I went to go see my radiation oncologist, Dr. Lopez. He tried to examine me, couldn't examine me. And he set me up for radiation, but he did he did tell me, from what he could see, that right now my tumor is inoperable. If they operate, I will have a permanent colostomy bag. For people that don't know what that is, that's basically a poop bag that's connected to you. It is on the outside of your body. It's connected to your intestines, so it doesn't go down to your colon or your rectum, and it empties into this bag that you have to empty. I'm 43, guys. I don't want to do that. I kind of want to live my life as free as possible. So that's the worst case scenario. I will if I have to do it, but I really don't want to. So he told me I'm going to be going through 35 rounds of radiation. And he said I possibly could get pain relief from the radiation because the tumors are connecting to muscles and tissues, to other parts of the region, your woman parts. And it's very, very painful. He said, so you might actually get pain relief from the radiation. So, after that, I went in for my simulation, and what they do is they set you up in the position that you're going to have radiation every day, Monday through Friday, for 35 rounds. The only days I have off is Saturday and Sunday. So they want to make sure that the radiation hits the right area to shrink the tumors. So they put me on, I call it the morgue board. They put me on the board with the pillow that you want. I don't know if you want to call it a pillow, but it's the things that mold to you. So when you go in every day, that's how they position you. They put stickers on my back for the lasers to see. Took a bunch of pictures, whatever. That took about a half hour. So that wasn't too bad. And then I had to go for a CAT scan and a PET scan the following week. Now at this point, I had dreads. I had dreads down to my butt. Anybody that knows me knows that last year I got dreads put in. I did get extensions. I did have natural hair down to my butt, but it was so thin when my cousin tried to dread it, it just wasn't working. So we just put the extensions in, but we put them all the way up top, so it kind of grew in. And I fell in love with them. I loved them. I was waiting for them to grow a little bit longer so I can start cutting the extensions off to actually have real hair. But I ended up going to Georgia, and my cousin ended up cutting all my dreads off because I was told with the chemo, I will lose my hair. So, my cousin cut my hair. It's not styled or it's not 100% straight because it doesn't matter. I'm going to lose it anyway, and for my cousin to have the courage to actually do that for me, I was quite okay with that. When she cut them, I was bawling my eyes out. Her kids were sitting there holding my hand, telling me it's going to be okay. Her daughter Nadia, she was adorable. I love that little girl so much. She sat there and she goes, "It's okay, Angie, just one more trim, just one more trim." She didn't understand. She still doesn't understand that, Angie's sick. Angie has cancer. Which I don't want her to know. But she cut my hair. It's super short. Like I said, it's not, straight or anything else. But that's okay because I'm going to lose it anyway. But for her to do it 9 months pregnant, for one, and for two, being upset because, it's her cousin and I'm fighting for my life now with cancer. So, she told me she can try to straighten it and everything. I told her no, I don't want it. I said it's fine the way it is. I'm going to end up losing my hair anyway, so, and I'm going to wear a bandana every day. That's when it really, truly hit me hard that I really did have cancer and that I'm really fighting for my life, because if I don't get the treatment, if I don't get the radiation, it can spread and I can die. So at that point, I shut down. It physically hit me. I stopped eating. I didn't leave my room again. I didn't leave my room. But at this point, I wouldn't even go downstairs for anything. I didn't want to talk to nobody. At this point, I was engaged. But as everybody knows, that's a whole nother soap opera. But nevertheless, I was engaged and I wouldn't even talk to him. He would check up on me and I would just leave him on red. I don't care. I don't want to talk to nobody. I don't want to be around nobody. I shut down mentally and physically. At that point, I started losing a lot of weight. I have lost 21 pounds so far, altogether. In 2 weeks, I lost 14 pounds. Because I don't eat. I don't have an appetite. When I eat, I throw up. So, I made an appointment with my primary, and I went to see him, and he put me on something for my anxiety. And that seemed to really help. And then he also told me that he was going to hook me up with somebody I can talk to, one of his patients that are going through the exact same thing. He goes, I can't give you her information though. I said, well, can you give her mine? Because at this point, I need to talk to somebody that knows exactly what I'm going through, because, people understand cancer, but people that have not experienced my type of cancer don't understand exactly what I'm going through. Just like if you have cancer and somebody else has not gone through that exact cancer, every cancer is different. Every symptom is different. Nobody's going to understand exactly how you feel unless you go through it. And that's what I want people to understand. I don't want sympathy. I don't want pity. I just want people to understand that every cancer is different. My best friend had breast cancer. I've never had breast cancer. I don't understand breast cancer. I don't understand the symptoms that she went through. I just understood that she was fighting, and it took her a long time to fight for her life, and I praise God every day that she's alive. I love you, wifey. You got this, and I know you got my back with this. So everybody's cancer is different. I had ovarian cancer twice. The first time I went through chemo. Second time I didn't. Second time I ended up having a full hysterectomy. And that was it. I didn't have chemo. I didn't have radiation. I didn't have anything else. Just had surgery. And I felt different. The symptoms were different. I was able to eat. I was able to drink. I was able to go to work. I was able to live. This is different. This is literally, I have ass cancer. I have a tumor on my ass. So the basic things like sitting, standing, walking, laying down, Um, Intimacy has all gone away. It hurts to sit, it hurts to stand, it hurts to lay down, it hurts to walk. Um, my intimacy has gone completely, completely. Um, not out of embarrassment, not out of shame, out of sheer pain. Um, so it's been rough, but ever since my doctor put me on that anxiety medicine, it's been really helpful. It's calmed me down a lot, and it was getting to the point that I was waking up every morning throwing up, because I was afraid of the unknown until I got, um, let me back up, sorry. I went to get my CT scan, and this is when the throwing up really started. Um, I went to go get my CT scan, and I needed to have oral contrast, and I got about half of the cup down. Not even 2 minutes later, I was throwing it up. So I couldn't get the CT scan. I got the x-rays done, and they had to call the doctor to ask for the CT scan with just IV contrast, because I needed them both that day. So I went home, and ever since then I started throwing up on a regular basis. Every time I would eat something, throw it up. So what's the sense of eating? I don't like throwing up. I hate it. So the next day they called me and scheduled me for a CT scan with just the IV contrast. I went back the next day and got it. No problem, whatever. And then I had a PET scan that Friday. Not a big deal, easy breezy. But I was still anxious. I still didn't know what was going on. I didn't know anything. Now, prior to that PET scan, that Tuesday, I had surgery to put my port in. And what that is where the chemo is going to go in. That's right here on my chest. This is where they threaded it in. And this is where they put the chemo. Everything else, I'll go into detail a little bit later, because I had something happen to me today with the port. So we'll go into that. But I got the port put in. And then Friday I had the PET scan. Now at this point I was still confused. I was still anxious. I was still worried. Didn't know what was going on. Didn't know my plan. Nothing. Now mind you, this whole entire time I didn't have an income. I still don't have an income. I'm trying to pay copays and medications and things that I need for my nutrition to keep me alive. Because I'm not eating, they want me to drink Ensures, Boost, stuff like that. That all adds up, and I don't have an income. I have no money. I'm negative $16 on my account right now. So my mom's been footing the bill because I've been staying with her for a while now. So she, she's on Social Security. She only gets enough money every month just to pay the rent, because it's so damn expensive in Florida to live. So she's been paying the rent, but she's been maxing out her credit cards, trying to help me pay my copays, trying to buy my medications, buying me my food, buying my dog's food, buying, everything that I need for me to try to survive. So I opened a GoFundMe account. Thank God 2 people donated just enough for me to pay for a copay and to pay for some of my medications. You know who you are, and I really appreciate you, and I love you both, and your spouses as well. And I appreciate you more than anything. But I am not one to beg for money. I'm not one to ever ask anybody for anything. I'm always trying to help everybody else and do for everybody else. So that was hard for me to actually open a GoFundMe account to help me pay for my medical bills. But anyway, the following Monday, I had chemo education. And what that did was they went over, what kind of chemo I was getting, how many treatments, blah, 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 blah. So after that, I calmed down a little bit. That was Friday. Saturday, I had a really, really good day. I had energy. I got up. Um, I did some things around the house to try to help my mom out. Um, Not too much, but I cleaned the bathroom. Um, I organized my laundry, cleaned my room, basic stuff an adult's supposed to do. That took everything out of me. That literally wiped me out. Um, Yesterday was a really bad day. Um, you guys got to realize when I get up, it hurts. When I walk, it hurts. To move, it hurts. I now sleep with a pregnancy pillow, which is right here behind me. Um, I sleep with a pregnancy pillow because it keeps my butt secure, I guess you would say. It keeps the pressure off my butt and keeps me secure in bed. Um, I live in pajamas, and now that I have this stupid thing in, I can't even wear a bra. So, old ladies, they sag. Whatever. Your modesty and your, whatever goes away. But anyway, um, this morning I was supposed to go for my first round of chemo. And I got there and they checked me in. They took my vitals. My iron was extremely low. My B12 was low. So they accessed my port. That hurt. It was the first time I ever had it accessed. And that was this thing right here. It's under my skin, but they can stick a needle in there and tape it to me. And that's how I get my chemo. But they can give me fluids, they can give me medicine, they can anything in there. If they need to draw labs, if they took them out of my arm and they need more tests, they can take it out of my port. But instead of getting chemo, they told me, oh, you can't have chemo for one, your iron's low, and you didn't have radiation yet. So what I'm doing is I have to go for chemo and radiation together. I'm getting a chemo pack to come home with. One medicine they have to push that day I go to chemo, and then they hook me up to a chemo pack that gets hooked to my port, and it's about this big. It's small, it's thin, but they put the chemo in it, and it just runs through my body 24 hours a day, for 5 days. So that equals 7 rounds of radiation, or 7 rounds of chemo in 1 week. So this is how invasive it is and aggressive it is. But today, instead of getting chemo, I had to get an iron infusion, which was an hour and a half long. Then I had to get a B12 shot. Not a big deal. It just burns. It's in the muscle. And then I go back Thursday for my first chemo treatment and my first radiation. So, that's it so far. If I can think of anything else, or if you guys have any, any suggestions on what I can do to try to gain weight, to try to keep my spirits high. I pray all the time. I was very, very mad at God for a while, asking him, why me? I'm a good person. I don't deserve this. I didn't do anything wrong to deserve this. I wear my heart on my sleeve. But it's okay, because you know what? I'm strong. I'm going to beat this. I'm just gonna, I have my cancer buddies now. Tasha is a big one. She's the gal that, my primary hooked me up with, and she contacted me, and she's going through the same thing, and hers is a lot harder, and, she's stage 4. I'm only stage 2. She's been battling this a lot longer than I have, so she's very knowledgeable. Anybody that has gone through chemo, my heart goes out to you. You're strong. You're all warriors. You got this. You know what's funny? I just noticed this. I literally just noticed this. When I had beaten ovarian cancer, several years back, my sister made me a sign, and she had painted it. And mind you, ovarian cancer the ribbon is teal. Okay? My cancer ribbon now for anal cancer is green and purple. Now, this painting was done in 2013. I just want to show y'all. Mind you, my colors are green and purple. That's the painting that my sister did for me. And it hangs over my bed. But that's the painting my sister did for me in 2013. 10 years later, those are my cancer colors. That is so crazy. And I you know, Kelly, I hope you understand. I hung that over my bed because I am a survivor. And without my family, I'm not going to be able to survive. But we're going to go on this journey together. And for those who watched, I greatly appreciate it. Any supporting words, I would greatly appreciate it. Anything positive, please no negative comments. I deal with enough negative shit on a daily from idiots in my life now that don't need to be in my life. But positive, good vibes. Any suggestions on nutrition? There is a GoFundMe page on my page, so if you know anything would help, guys. I literally have no money. My mom literally has no money. She maxed out all of her credit cards. I'm waiting for my short-term disability to come in just to pay my car. I hear, you know, beep beeps out there, and I think it's a tow truck coming to get my car. I'm trying here, guys. I'm lost. But like I said, any suggestions, any thoughts, any prayers, I would greatly appreciate it. And just stay positive. And one thing that I will continue to say, be there for your loved ones and be a support. You don't have to show sympathy or pity. Show understanding. Do some research. Do some research on your loved one's diagnosis. Go to meetings with them. Be that support. Sometimes they just want to talk and they want to vent and they just want you to listen. You don't always have to speak. Just listen. Let them scream. Let them cry. Let them scream at your face and you know, and understand it's not them, it's the cancer. You will get, I call it cancer brain. I forget everything. It's to a point that I can't even take my own meds. I forget to take them. My mom has to give me my meds. My mom has to make my doctor's appointments. My mom has to write everything down for me. My mom has to remind me to eat. My mom has to remind me, you know, to get up and move around. The only thing I don't forget to do is shower, because I basically live in the bathtub. So I know, hey, I gotta get up and clean myself. That's the only thing I remember to do, and to go to the bathroom. But other than that, be patient, guys. All right, we're gonna take this journey together. Much love. I appreciate you all. Until the next time.